Are you struggling for consistency in your sim racing? Does your iRating look like a roller coaster? If so, we have good news for you. The way to get more consistent is to first understand what you're doing differently than the professionals. And VRS is the answer. With our competitive subscription, you will have the telemetry, setups, tutorials, and everything else you need to fully analyze your driving. Our data packs and the ability to compare your driving with the best in the world will show you exactly where to adjust your inputs, change your driving line, and shave seconds off of your lap times. And our powerful and precise Direct Force Pro wheelbase and precision pedals are being used by some of the world's best drivers, including Peter Berryman, John Robertson, Brandon Trano, and IndyCar World Champion Alex Palou. All these champions agree that VRS hardware is not just the best on the market, it's also priced well below the competition. So if you're looking to upgrade to direct drive and the best pedals in sim racing, VRS is your answer. If you want to get better, get faster, and make it happen sooner rather than later, you owe it to yourself to find out why so many people are switching to VRS. You'll be so glad that you did. Visit www.virtualracingschool.com and learn why the best use VRS.
Welcome, everybody, to Season 20, the Extreme Motorsports Ricmotech Classic Sprint Series presented by Performatech Elite Graphics. I'm Greg Ginsberg, along with Larry Lefty McLeod, and we've got Dennis Branch and Jonathan Grabowski in the virtual production truck, bringing you all the best camera angles and action that Apex Racing TV is known for. So the last time we caught up with our MX-5 racers, they were dealing with both an 8-legged monstrosity as well as the monstrous elevation changes that make Barber Motorsports Park so notoriously difficult. And I have to say that we're not making it any easier on them this week as they head down Old Steam Corners Road to an iconic American track designed with a singular goal, and that was to be difficult. Tonight we find ourselves at the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course for two 30-minute sprint races, rounds 5 and 6 of what has been shaping up to be one of the best CSS seasons to date. So good evening, Larry. How are you doing this fine evening?
I am doing well. It looks nice and beautiful and sunny out here in Mid-Ohio. Probably not exactly the same weather that we have here in the Midwest still, even though it is almost March. But there you go. You got your weather right there on the screen. 19 degrees C would be a nice afternoon of racing. It's going to be a lot of fun here tonight. 2 quick sprint races. And I think this play, especially with the inverted grid in the second race, is going to be very interesting because this is a tough track to pass. And only the skilled and the best can pull it off.
Yeah, we have been throwing, I think, some of the most horrendous, most difficult tracks to pass onto our MX-5 drivers here the last couple of outings. Of course, we were at Barber just a few weeks ago. Before we were at Barber, we were at Mount Panorama. Certainly, as you come flying down the mountain, it's not easy to pass. That's right. For more information, let's call 614. Anyway, and of course, I think maybe a little easier was WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca. But as you mentioned here, Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course, certainly not the easiest track to pass on. At least you've got a few more traditional passing areas, hard threshold braking zones, at the end of the long back straight here, maybe coming out of turn 1, heading up towards the keyhole, things and opportunities that maybe did not present themselves at Barber a few weeks ago. So it should it always makes for some very good racing here. So quickly, Larry, before we move on, the format tonight, we're going to have 2 30-minute races. We are going to be inverting the field with the top 7 drivers getting their order reversed as they go into the second of 2 races. And, again, it should be a great time here tonight at the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. But, Larry, why don't we pass things off as we do every week to Kevin Ford. He's going to give us, as we're getting word that there's just about a minute remaining in the pre-race practice, let's pass things on to Kevin Ford, and he will give us tonight's track guide of the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course.
Welcome, everyone, to the beautiful Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. 2.25 miles is what it takes to get around this place. 13 turns of lots of excitement. As we get ready to head up the front straightaway here, you'll notice our pit area to the left. Not a lot of grandstands here as we cross the stripe and head up towards turn 1. Very fast sweeping left-hander here as we go underneath the bridge and set up our exit for this uphill straightaway. This will take us up to what's known as the keyhole, a very tight right-hander, dropping right-hander as it's off camber coming out of the exit of this turn here. We're going to get a nice wide track out entrance here so we can get right down to that apex and get that power down coming up off of the corner here. This is the longest straightaway here at Mid-Ohio. You'll see a lot of overtaking happening here, certainly coming down this back stretch and into what's known as China Beach. This is where a lot of action happens. This is probably the most popular overtaking spot here at Mid-Ohio. Down into turn 4, we'll track back right, set up our entry into 5 here, right over this blind crest through the apex, down a little short chute here into turn 6. We'll come back to the right and set up our entry underneath the Honda Bridge, up through 7, through the gears through 8 now we'll come into the entry to Thunder Valley here. A blind entry and a blind exit as we track out left out of 9, down underneath the bridge here through the right-hander of turn 10. This will bring us into another blind entry here. around 11, then up into the famous carousel here at Mid-Ohio. Turn 12, very difficult turn to get right. You want to get that exit nice and strong through this apex out of 13 to bring you back up to the front straightaway here and across the stripe. There you go. There's your track guide for the beautiful Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. Thank you for being with us.
All right, thank you so much to Mr. Kevin Ford for tonight's track guide of the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. And, you know, Larry, as we were watching Kevin toss that Miata around, or MX-5, around all 2.258 miles of what is termed as the pro course. We're going to be running the version without the bus stop chicane here tonight. You know, you could see as he's certainly not a big fan of shuffle steering in iRacing, as he's, you know, got his elbows all the way over and, you know, really cranking that wheel. You know, much like Barber, it just seems like the hands never stop moving here at Mid-Ohio.
Yeah, and that's what makes this place such a challenge to pass, is because there isn't an opportunity to just sort of straighten up, line up, catch a draft, pull alongside, and make an out-braking type maneuver. In this place, if you want to get by, you're going to have to really harass somebody. You're going to have to be in their trunk from probably turn 1, maybe in their trunk all the way down to the keyhole, and then maybe you'll have a shot going down there near China Beach. I think that's kind of how things end up being for passing right here. But what it does do is especially with the 2 sprint format, if you want to win one of those sprints, gives opportunities for a bunch of side-by-side attempts, especially late in those sprint races, as folks want to try and move up in position. I think we'll be seeing some of that tonight, because as we've talked about all season long, we've got a pretty tough stacked field here in the Classic Sprint MX-5s, and I think that usually lends itself to being a whole lot of close racing, especially the front of the pack.
Yeah, Larry, that is without a doubt. And you know, I want to take a look back, actually, as we've got qualifying now starting and getting underway here. And we're showing a number of these cars now. They're out on their out laps. They will have 4 flying laps to set a fast lap and set the grid for tonight's first race. Now, although it shows it on the screen as I think we had it up as 18 minutes, it is still a 15-minute qualifying session. But each driver, while they're out on course, they will have what appears to be the track all to themselves, that they won't have to worry about any kind of traffic. And, you know, Larry, if we go back a couple of weeks to our last stop here in the Classic Sprint Series, 2 drivers, they finished first and second. They didn't have to deal with that much traffic, or with the traffic that they did have to work through. They both did incredibly well. Both Mike Dam and Robert Hartley. They started off on the outside of the front row at Barber. Dam on the pole, Hartley to the outside, and you called it. You said whoever's on the outside going in the going into turn 1 on Barber, all they've got to do is just be able to hang on, because suddenly that outside position will move to the inside going into what's known as the carousel there, turns 2 and 3. And Robert Hartley was able to take the point from Mike Dam. Dam was able to work his way back around Hartley, but both of those drivers, they had pace unlike any other driver out on course. Their average lap time's almost a half second faster than the next fastest driver on track over the course of a 60-minute race. Really very, very impressive. Dam worked his way back into the lead around and got around Hartley, but as they cycled through their pit stops, Hartley managed to work his way back around. He took the win. Finishing second was Mike Dam. Finishing a very distant third was Caleb Lavender. And I'll tell you, there were a couple drivers that were, I think, pretty upset with the way things worked out. Chris Thorman, that's Caleb Lavender's teammate from D2D iRacing, started off, was in 5th position going around, and after the very first lap completed, coming onto the front straight, dropped the wheel, put the car into the wall. Brennan Horan had an incident on lap 1. 2 very strong drivers in the pro class as well. But again, a very exciting race. Let's take a look at the point standings and see how they shake out now in the pro category. And right now, your points leader with 1 win, and I believe he only managed to finish 10th at Barber, though. John Allen with 126 points. He has a 1-point advantage. The Defined Auto Works driver, 1-point advantage over Mike Dam, who also has 1 win. Dam representing Orion Racing. Then Brennan Horn, who we just spoke about a moment ago. Even with his 12th place finish at Barber, he is still sitting 3rd in the championship right now. He is our reigning AM category champion from season 19. He's got 109 points, only 1 point back from him, though. Robert Hartley, our winner at Barber, and then currently sitting 5th in the championship is Caleb Lavender with 100 points, but still so close, so tight in the pro category. And even with some of the drivers having some real tough outings, not much in the way of changes in the point standings there in pro. So if we go now and take a look at the AM category, and Larry, I think this is kind of bittersweet for Eugene Weber at Barber. He started off on the pole in the AM category. I think he started with basically he got spotted, I think, like 5 or 6 positions over the rest of the AM category field. Had a spectacular first 2/3 of the race, and the next thing we know, he comes in for his pit stop, pits from the lead in AM, again with a number of cars between he and the rest of the field in AM, and we just saw him sit and sit and sit on the pit lane. And we didn't know exactly what was happening, but Steve Daniel certainly loved what he saw as he after his pit stop ended up in the lead, and Weber, I think, had fallen after he rejoined the field. I think he'd fallen all the way down to 5th in AM and worked his way back up into 2nd, with that 2nd place finish, that is enough for him to jump ahead of Dean Dibdahl, who came into Barber as the points leader in the AM category. He actually wasn't racing at Barber. He was running with another series that night. And so Weber takes the lead in the championship now, although he has no wins to his name yet this season. And Dean Dibdahl has 3 out of the 4 rounds on the top step of the podium. Dibdahl with 81.6 points back. Greg Brockway currently sitting 3rd in the championship with 72. And then Russ Ruddick and Steve Daniel rounding out the top 5, only 2 points separating the Flying Tortoise Motorsports driver and our winner from Barber, Steve Daniel. So things not quite as tight as they are in the pro category, but still very, very close. And Dean Dibdahl is back with us here tonight, and as is Eugene Weber. So I think this is going to be, I think this race
Dean
tonight
showing his drifting skills on the screen right now as he goes around turn 1.
That was pretty darn impressive going through turn 1 with the full opposite lock, and he saves the thing. But we'll have to see how things play out there in the AM category championship, and whether or not we'll see how Weber can do tonight. Now, practice a little bit earlier, I think Dibdahl pretty much had the measure of Weber. We'll have to see as we go through qualifying.
And that missed race for Dean certainly makes the points look as though he's down a little bit, but with 3 wins in 4 races, he's got, I would say, kind of a hidden stranglehold on the class.
Yeah.
I think Weber's going to have to really work himself pretty hard, as well as the others. I mean, there's a couple of the guys there in the AM class that could make a run, but I think it's going to be Dean's to lose once you get around to having those drops. As we're watching the spin out there right now.
I think it was Mike Dam who just put the car around going through madness.
Your provisional
over
pole
the top
sitter,
turn 5.
still not enough heat in the tires, I guess. So that'll help a little bit to get more heat in there, but.
Yeah, and that was his 3rd flying lap out of 4, so still a little.
And that might have been what we saw Dean Dibdahl doing more deliberately, which was, lay a time down, spend a lap or 2 in the middle laps to try and get some more heat in there, and then to be able to get a good flyer on the 4th lap, which for Mike Dan, he'll be lining up. If I look down the list here, John Allen's already taken his 4, as has Caleb Lavender, Travis Schwenke. Everybody else taking the 4. You got to go all the way down to Nate Nicholson down there in 7th before you find somebody who still has some time to put in. So Mike with an opportunity here to, I guess, reinforce his already sitting pole position.
Exactly. All right. So, Larry, we've got somebody joining us here tonight in the commentary booth. He's finished his qualifying, and he's going to be heading out on track tonight, competing in the AM category. It is Michael Key, driver of the number 98 Free to Sport Racing Mazda MX-5. Let's bring him on in.
All right, we are joined here by Mike Key, and one of our AM drivers here in the Classic Sprint Series. Mike, looks like you've got all your qualifying laps in. How did that go for you?
It didn't go too bad. Finally put one in equal to practice times on my last lap, so I'm happy with that.
That's always good. Yeah, I guess in just a couple of short qualifying laps, sometimes it's tough to get enough heat in the tires to really lay down something fast. These things are pretty much a handful on cold tires, I find.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I started with Extreme back in season 2, and I'm part of the 4-car team for Frito Sport, and consisting of myself as the senior member at 74, and Mike Taylor is also 74 but slightly younger, and then we have Pat Preventis, our youngest senior in the 60s. And Edgar Sancinelli is the owner of our team, and he is the youngest by far. But and Pat Preventis.
I heard a little bit about Pat. Maybe you could tell us some of his recent accomplishments outside of iRacing.
Yeah, Pat has been a long-time flag marshal for SCCA, like myself, and in 2021 he was named Corner Worker of the Year for Sports Car Club of America. So very happy.
That's a huge accomplishment for folks that don't know. That's basically out of the thousands of volunteers that come out to race weekends and tracks around the country throughout the year. He was named as the one that stood out and gets that recognition for being Worker of the Year. And I think it's a huge accomplishment. It says a lot that he's the time and effort to be able to put in week after week and go on out there and flag those races. And as you know, it's not easy. It is a lot of fun. It's a labor of love, and it's awesome to see someone like Pat get that recognition.
Yeah, definitely. Pat, myself, Robert Brist, 3 of us here, and I think Brennan Horan has done a little bit. We all are flag marshals, and I've been doing it for over 50 years. So got my license for another year of it.
That's awesome. What tracks do you normally work?
Road America is the closest track. Live in Wisconsin, about an hour away from Road America. But have been fortunate in all these years to be able to work all over the United States, a little bit in Canada, and down in Mexico.
Oh, wow. That's really cool. Yeah, with the runoffs having been at Road America just 2 years ago, and I'm sure you were probably out for that one. Do you get a plan on running down to Virginia then this coming fall?
I'm afraid can't make it this year. I have been out there, beautiful place, and I'm sure it'll be a great runoffs there.
Yeah, for sure. And a lot of the drivers that, with the virtual runoffs coming, a lot of drivers kind of get crossed over. It's great to see that the flagger are able to come in and now be competitors and kind of get right in the front of that. I think it's a really great opportunity there as well for other racing that goes on. But for yourself, do you do any other real world racing or just stick to the flagging outside?
Strictly flagging. I always realized that I never had the money to do it, so best thing I could do was work the corners.
Yep, and I tell everybody I meet, it's the absolute best place to watch a race from. You will get up close and personal with that race for the entire afternoon. It's a great opportunity, and people like yourselves love it, and it's appreciated that they're out there for those great weekends to keep those races going.
Yeah, I would say probably 80 to 85% of my friends are all SCCA members and workers, and we're a family, just like we are here in the iRacing family.
Yeah, for sure. I'm a longtime SCCA member myself, and I can tell you I've met some of my best friends and longest relationship friends there in SCCA. But it's awesome to see you guys sticking it out here. Your flagger group and the Frito Sport Racing group has a good thing going here. So awesome to see it. Well, we're I don't know. Are we doing a 15-minute qualifying?
It's
or is it
15 minutes. Yeah, we've got under a minute in qual. Actually, we should now have the checkered flag out on qualifying, Larry.
They got qualifying noted as 18 minutes, Greg.
Yes. However.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you what. So, Mike, I appreciate it. I think we'll wish you a good luck tonight hopefully you'll have a nice strong finish here tonight, and maybe who knows, we'll get you up on the podium and talk to you at the end.
Thank you, and great job. Appreciate what you do.
All right, thanks, Mike. Good luck.
Thank you.
All right, there you go. That was Mike Key, driver the number 98 Fruity Sport Racing Mazda MX-5, racing in the AM category tonight. And Larry, as we've got our drivers pulling off for last minute little meeting before they go on track to start tonight's race. It was great to hear about Mike and Patrick and some of the junior members of the team. Actually, I think Patrick is a 50-year plus SCCA member, and to have him referred to as I guess Edgar's the junior member of the team, but to hear it referred to that way was kind of interesting. All right, so we've got our starting grid, and Larry, why don't we run down? We've got normally we'd have a very short pace lap here as the pace car is set up just before the carousel, but we're going to be starting the race, throwing the green flag on the back straight over by turn 3. So we got a little bit more time. Why don't we run down the starting grid?
All right, on pole tonight. He had it after 2 laps, and after 3 laps, didn't even take a 4th one. Orion Racing's own Mike Dam on the pole tonight. On his outside is going to be the local guy from Ohio himself, runs a lot of real-world racing here from Seamless Racing, John Allen. Row 2 on the inside, a D2D racing driver by Skull Sim Gear, it's Caleb Lavender. And he'll be lined up alongside Mike Dam's teammate from Orion Racing, Travis Schwenke. On row 3, Delta Sports driver Nathan Nicholson. He'll be lined up alongside Motorsports Clint Vigas. On row 4, you got on the inside Esports racer Greg Mack, and he'll be lined up alongside Craney Customs Racing's Jeffrey Cranston. On row 5, on the inside from Slicks Racing, Brennan Horan, and on the outside, Soto Racing Operations. Didn't see him put a time down to practice, but he got himself up in row 5 here in qualifying, Josh Soto. On row 6, on the inside, Esports racer Jordy Fike. And alongside him, another driver didn't get any practice in, but was able to get into qualifying, Tony Kernan from Kernan Motorsports. On row 7, Chris Thorman from D2D Racing will be on the inside. On the outside, SKKJ Racing's Steve Daniel. On row 8, on the inside, there's your points leader, Eugene Weber from Weber Racing in that AM class. He'll be lined up alongside David Payton from D2DE Racing. Row 9 on the inside, Jeff Jacobson, the streetsurvival.org entry. Lined up alongside, he's won 3 out of 4 races so far in the AM class, Dean Dibdahl in ZP Motorsports. On row 10 on the inside, one of our Frito Sport Racing drivers, Mike Taylor. Just talked to him. Good luck to him tonight. On the outside, Nick Parsono from NAP Motorsports. Sorry, it was Mike Key we talked to, not Mike Taylor, but they're both from Frito Sport. On row 11, on the inside of the Frito Sport Racing driver, Edgar Santinelli, lined up alongside Greg Brockway from Slicks Racing. On row 12, there is that Mike Key, Frito Sport Racing on the inside. And he'll be lined up with, and I just missed it there, I think he might be with Robert Brist. We're about to go green.
All right, so we've got the cars, Larry. They're going to be coming through turn 1. Right now, our pole sitter, Mike Dam, he has the field. They'll start to grid up 2 by 2 as they come out of the keyhole. Again, we're going to have the green flag fly on the back straight. Again, remember that this is the first of 2 30-minute races here tonight from the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. We're going to invert the top 7 drivers from our first race to set the grid for race number 2. And if you like what you see here tonight, remember to go ahead and subscribe to Apex Racing TV. Click on that notification bell to find out about all the great motorsports action that we have almost every single day of the week. You can also find us on Instagram, on Facebook, and on one of those other things, that Twitter thing. Just search for one word, Apex Racing TV. As the 93 of Mike Dam, John Allen in the 101 machine, they come down the back straight, and they're going to be getting the green flag here in just a moment. And there it is. Green flag is in the air from the top of that Honda Tower over by turn 3 as Mike Dam leads the field down as they head down towards turn number 4, that very heartbreaking turn.
Just like Barber, the driver on the outside may have an advantage if he can hold it, and I'm seeing that outside being good and strong there for John Allen.
And there you go, John Allen. He takes the point as they come over Madness, turn number 5. John Allen, this is his home track in real life, knows it incredibly well. He's going to lead Mike Dam into the S's here with Travis Schwenke, Caleb Lavender, Nate Nicholson, Clint Vigas Following very close behind, we've got all of our drivers lined up all in a row, and I think everybody, Larry, made it through successfully. I didn't see any drivers
I see tire
off.
smoke in the background, though.
Well, there you go.
As Edgar Santinelli drops down the order.
There you go. The yellow and white number 57 car, he is off going through turn number 6 as John Allen now, and you can see another driver getting back up and running. That is the 07 machine. That is Josh Soto, who we first saw him run this race here at Mid-Ohio, Larry, 2 seasons ago. Worked his way all the way up, I think, in the 5th place as a rookie in the AM category. But it's going to be a tough run for him as the drivers come out of turn number 1 now for the very first time. They're going to make that run down towards the keyhole. We're going to see if Mike Dam decides to try and push the nose underneath John Allen. He does not as they head down into this keyhole. Very late apex. You can see there that camera view, Larry, it just drops away. Really hard to keep the car from pushing wide on exit and keeping it on track. But all of our, I'd say our top 15 drivers managed to do so as they make that very long run. And here is where the draft comes into play, Larry, as once again, Dam's going to go side by side with Allen into turn 4.
And looks like he's going to be able to make that pass stick and take the lead back for Mike Dam.
All right, and you can see there, looks like we've got, and I think we've got the replay coming up with the 07 machine and the 7 of Tony Kernan getting together here on the opening lap. Let's take a look. Oh, yeah, as they were coming through turn 6, and it looks like, and a number of cars. And was that Dibdall? I think that might have been
like
one of the
last
cars.
one that kind of got caught in that, yeah.
Yeah, that we'll take a look. And a matter of fact, I'm showing Dean Dibdall now down in 7th position in the AM category. And although we didn't give you the heads up here before the race started, you'll notice as you look at the timing pylon on the left-hand side of your screen, you'll see a number of drivers with their positions in black. You'll see a number of them with their positions in red. That correlates to the category that they're in. The black cars, they are in the pro category. The red, they are in the AM category. And if you take a look at the cars on track, the pro drivers will have black mirrors, black windshield banners, as well as black number boards. The AM category drivers, red mirrors, as we see a bunch of them coming through turn 1 right now. Red mirrors, red number boards as well. So should be easy for you to pick out the action right
One of those drivers you're going to see coming through there in that red on the left side of the screen there. That is young Dean Dibdall, the number 19, coming right at us, trying to make the pass on the 62 of Brockway. Looks like he's going to make that pass, but he's got a tough road here to start picking through some traffic. Next up, I believe, is going to be John Casey in front of him.
Yeah, and Casey had a great start. Both he and Russ Ruddick, they made their way through that incident in lap 1, Larry. Ruddick made up 8 positions in 1 lap. Casey, 6 positions. So good runs for them. We'll have to see if they can hold off the rest of the team there, as we're watching a great battle here in the AM category. But now we're going to jump back to the lead as we watch now as Mike Dam leads our second place runner, John Allen, through turn 9 over that huge crest of the hill and into Thunder Valley.
Yeah, this means a lap went by and John Allen was not able to retake the lead on Dam. Dam was able to get the lead back coming out of Keyhole before they got down to 4, but it does not look like John's able to return the favor yet. But that is definitely the best passing zone that we're able to see that happen. John's going to have to work to try and set him up, but he's got some fast guys right behind him. Travis Schwenke, Cap Lavender, there's some hungry guys that want to move up, and Allen's going to have to be fighting while being fought.
And you saw it there flash up on the screen for a moment. Tony Kernan has been assigned a drive-through penalty for that contact with Josh Soto. He's making his way down the pit lane now. He was sitting in, I believe, 7th position in the pro category. He's now going to drop all the way almost to the tail end of the field, down to 13th in pro, 19th overall. The only driver that is further down in the order than he is right now in pro, that is Josh Soto, who was the other person involved there. Soto currently sitting 14th in class, 25th overall.
Tough start for both of those guys, as I mentioned, going through the grid there. Neither one of those guys able to get much practice in here in the official session before qualifying started. That may have proven to be a little bit of the issue there. I'll tell you, cold tires at this track are just deadly, and if you're not used to it, it really will catch you out, and I'm wondering if that may have been part of what was going on there between Kernan and Soto. Kernan may have caused it, both of them getting caught up in it. It's unfortunate for both, because both of them have shown some incredible speed when they really do get up to their pace.
Yeah, without a doubt, Larry, and and again, both of those drivers have been very strong in the past here at Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. But you can see, just as we follow our top 6 drivers here in the pro category, you know, the undulations in this track, how it rises, how it drops away, as opposed to Barber, where you had, you know, you have a number of, you know, large elevation changes, major drops. For the most part, there was usually positive camber to catch the car coming through those corners. So many of the complexes here at Mid-Ohio are downhill and off camber. And, you know, when you go out on cold tires at the start of a race, I mean, you can see the still now after we've got 4 full laps in the books, you know, how much the rear end will step out on these cars, as you would expect the tires to have warmed up, especially on the first lap. It could be deadly, and that's what we saw. All right, we've got another replay here. We saw that there's another incident that is currently under review. We'll take a look here as Nick Parsono comes down the inside. Very late move coming down the hill out of Madness, going into turn 6, almost exactly where we saw that first lap incident. And he gets a few drivers to join him there in the grass, as again that incident currently under review by the stewards.
Yeah, Russ Ruddock seemed to be the one that took the brunt of that hit, unfortunately. Now in the pits getting some repairs. And that's part of the danger of this place, because it is not easy to pass. This isn't Road Atlanta, Road America, where you have got long straightaways to set somebody up and be patient for it. This place, sometimes the dive bombs end up coming through, and if somebody's not ready for it and you get up in the inside a little bit too aggressively, you end up with contact, and that's unfortunate there. And some of that earlier contact we talked about, it's not even the incident itself, it's the folks coming in from behind. They get caught up in it. Dean Dibdahl was one of those earlier, so we've got the shot of him there. He was one of them caught up. He's currently making his way through the pack, but as you can see, he's still only 4th in AM class. That class currently led by, I believe it's Jeff Cranston.
Is still Jeff Cranston, and Cranston, who had a pretty good-sized advantage on the at the start of this race, had four pro category drivers between he and our second place starter Eugene Weber. Now has Steve Daniel just 2 cars back from him, and Weber's actually dropped off just a little bit here. But we'll track this in just a few moments. You may have seen thrown up on the screen there that Nick Parsono had been assigned a drive-through penalty for that incident with Russ Ruddock, and Parsono coming down the pit lane now.
Yeah, and that's the right call there. So that's going to hurt him for this first race. He'll get a chance to drive a bunch of laps all by himself. But these guys are not by themselves. This looks like...
Yeah, this is Lavender and Nick Nicholson, or Nathan, probably not Nick Nicholson, but Nathan Nicholson nose to tail. That is the battle for third right now, as our top 2 drivers, Mike Dam and John Allen, have now 5.5 laps into this race, have separated themselves out from the rest of the field. Very tight battle here, still for third, with Lavender, Nicholson, also Clint Vigas, Travis Schwenke, not all that far back either, but Mike Dam, for the second week in a row, starting to really separate himself out from the rest of the field.
Yeah, I'm kind of wondering what may have happened to Schwenke. He started this race up in third. He's got himself down a couple of spots now. In fact, he was running there right behind John Allen. Now he's out, leaving Nicholson and Lavender sort of to fend for their own, because I think they might have lost draft with Dam and Allen out in front of them without a Schwenke in between. You can see him there. Travis Schwenke currently in 6th spot. Still in the train, but clearly lost quite a few places there on a previous lap.
Yeah, and so now Mike Dam has opened up about 2/3 of a second, about 666 thousandths of a second over John Allen. Now, as they make their way out of the keyhole and start to make their run down the back straight, you'll notice here they make that little bit of a move to the inside, and that is because there's a good-sized kink right in the middle of the back straight. You can see there as the cones get thrown in the air from the access road. Somebody's going to run out there, pick them all up.
That was Travis Schwenke that did that. I'm not quite sure. It did look like an Orion car that may have done that. I'm not sure if it was him or one of the teammates. Those cones, don't worry, they'll get restacked, and someone will hit them again on a future lap as it just cones off one of those little crossroads.
Yeah, it's not an autocross. You don't lose a full second for it, but...
You might pick up a 1X, though, if you run out there too far.
Exactly. All right, here as we watch these drivers, and I love watching as they come over turn 9 there. I mean, the MX-5s, they don't necessarily have the power to do it, but some of the higher horsepower cars, they will lift wheels in the air coming over that little over that little rise, and part of the challenge of that corner is actually keeping the car on track as it completely unloads the suspension. But it's just...
Oh yeah, I started learning this track. That corner was the worst. You can't teach yourself to turn in early enough for that corner. You need to get the car rotated and kind of pointed the right way so early. The problem is you're approaching it after coming through the 7-8 S's there. It kind of drops off, and you got to put yourself so far to the outside, and you can't see anything but the hill that is the apex at 9. And you just got to trust by throwing it in that it's going to be there. And I can tell you, I watched a lot of guys in these kind of cars go driving circles around me through there who knew how to do it. It took just forever to get that rhythm of throw that car in, get the car to bite while the grip is there before it falls off on the other side.
Yeah, exactly. Before it falls off and you end up in the grass over driver's right, or probably driver's left.
Oh, every time.
All right, so here we're watching, and this is right now, I believe, if we take a look here.
Dibdall and Kernan.
And Kernan, exactly. And so right now, Dibdall running 4th in the AM category, and running right behind Tony Kernan. Kernan currently running a bit of a surprise here. Of course, he had that drive-through penalty. Tony Kernan currently sitting 13th in pro. Yeah. Now, if Dibdall can get around Kernan, that would be the battle for 3rd in the AM category, or for that matter, if Kernan gets around Weber.
Battle for the points lead, more importantly, is Weber currently has it. Dibdall's currently 2nd, and I think what we're going to see here is what it seems to be happening is Tony Kernan's very fast. At some point, he's probably going to get by Weber, and that's going to leave Dibdall to fend for himself, to fight against this the spot there that Weber currently has 3rd in class. So for Dean, I'm sure he's going to play patience right now, let Tony do his thing and make his way by. Maybe even luck out and do a 2-for-1 deal and follow Tony right on by.
Yeah, I was going to say let Kernan just pull him right down the front straight. And when I say front straight, not here where they're coming out of turn 13 onto the start-finish straight, but down coming out of turn 1 and making the way up to the keyhole here. We'll see in a few moments how that plays out as we jump back a little bit here. Oh, and we have a car that's gone around coming through the keyhole here, Larry, and going around that is, I believe, Clint Vigas in the number 71 machine. I believe he and Greg Mack may have gotten together. It looked like Mack might have gotten a little loose coming through the keyhole. We'll track that and see if we can pick that up. But that is going to really hurt Vigas, drops him back a number of positions. All right, let's take a look here, and it looks like Greg Mack definitely off the pace right now as they come up through the keyhole. Vigas had a very wide entry, comes down towards the apex, and Greg Mack was sitting there on the curbing. I don't think there was anything that Greg Mack really could have done anything about that, Larry.
Yeah, you can do too wide through there, and I think a little bit of a misjudgment perhaps by Clint as he was thinking that perhaps a little bit more room to go, and there just isn't. You can go too wide, but you got to be disciplined to stay out there and then not try to get that super tight exit. We'll see what the stewards have to say, as I'm sure they may be taking a look at some point. There it is. They'll take a look and see if there's any fault to give.
And actually, it wasn't the 09 of Greg Mack.
The 45 of Brennan Horn.
Of Brennan Horn, the two eSport racer machines. They were right by one another, and we'll take a look and see what kind of damage was done to the left-hand side of that car. Here as he comes through turn 1.
And that is Chris Thorman spinning out there, coming out of 1 in that number 60 machine.
All right, let's take a look here. We've got a replay now. Edgar Sancinelli having a few more issues here this evening. Going down into turn 5, and he gets absolutely pounded. Actually, that was a turn 4. I think that was turn 4 right over by, right at the beach. At China Beach, as John Casey just came down the inside. Might have missed his breaking point, but just absolutely hammered Edgar Sancinelli and off into China Beach. Now, I guess the one saving grace here, Larry, although it looked like Sancinelli, he might have picked up some damage. At least in iRacing, you end up in China Beach, you can pretty much drive out, as opposed to the real world where you're pretty much stuck for the rest of the race.
Yeah, it's not a fast drive out. It's still more of a crawl of shame, but you can get out. You're not stuck there forever. I'm just watching these three, as I believe this is In the middle there is the 97.
I think it's
of
Jordy
Jeff
Fike, Jeff
Cranston.
Cranston, who is our leader in the AM category currently, and then Greg Mack. So the two Team Esport Racer drivers, and then the Cranny Customs machine sandwiched
And I'm telling
right between.
you, there are a whole lot of virtual scuff marks on the front and rear bumpers of these guys right now.
Yes.
We had a couple of good shots. They came down into 4. Greg Mack got just a little bit of a tap to the back of Cranston. No harm, no foul. Was able to hold on to it. But boy, it is extremely tight racing with these guys. They are definitely going to need a little bit of body work at the end of this thing to replace some of these scuffs before we go to race number 2.
All right, Larry, and this, let's take a look at this, Larry, because we just saw something flashed up by the stewards that there was an incident with Clint Vigas and Dean Dibdahl.
Oh, no.
Now, of course, Vigas had that earlier incident, and you could see, as both of them also at turn 4, the end
And
of
so
that
there's the penalty
long
issue
straight.
for Vigas. I believe that's for the first incident, as obviously he hasn't reviewed the second one yet. So there he is serving the first. Would not be surprised if there's a second to be served. Nope. They're just going through it now. It sounds like there's a warning for one of the incidents and a penalty for the other.
Yeah, and it sounded like they were assigning fault there to Dean Dibdahl for that incident at turn 4, and it sounded like he may have gotten a warning for that. We'll see how things. We'll see what he does on track here. Looks like Vigas, who had come down to serve a drive-through, is now back out on track as we're on board now with Mike Dam, and Dam now has really, Larry, as we have now just about a little bit less than 12 minutes remaining here in our first 30-minute race of the evening. Dam has now opened up about a second and a half advantage over John Allen.
And there's the graphic. You can see it's just consistently just pulling away. Got one good lap there with 3/10 ahead, but he's got some tremendous pace here.
Yeah.
And for John Allen now kind of out of that draft, unable to stick with him. Take a look at Caleb Lavender, who was able to get around Nicholson a couple laps ago. He's going to be hounded.
Exactly, and Lavender now only about a half second back from John Allen. So as they come out of the keyhole and start to make their way down this long back straight, that's going to be an opportunity, not necessarily at this point for Lavender to get up in the position to make a pass, but should be able to get right onto the rear bumper of John Allen through Madness and then through the S's.
Yeah, this could be a fun battle to watch as this race goes on for the next 10 minutes or so, to see can Lavender get around the hometown boy there, John Allen. I think Lavender's been really itching for a strong finish. Hasn't gotten the strong finish he wants this season. At this point, I don't think anybody's going to catch Mike Dam, but for Lavender, a win, so to speak, would be probably be able to get by John Allen, take a second spot here in this race. Meanwhile, we flash back to this battle still going. This is the interclass battle of Fike and Mack on the outsides and Cranston in the middle.
Yeah, and not only that, Larry, but this is also for the transfer spot going into race number 2. Jordy Fike currently running in the 07, probably the 09 machine, currently sitting in 7th position. If the race were to end now, he would be your pole sitter for race number 2. If Jeff Cranston can make his way around that 09 machine, that will put him. I don't want to say that would lock up the win for him in race number 1, but at this point, the next closest AM category car Larry is currently running 11th overall. That would give Jeff Cranston a 10-car separation back to Steve Daniel, who's currently running second.
That'd be a huge boost if he's able to pull that off. But this is not going to be easy because Fike is not going to make it easy on him, and Greg Mack is right in there as well. As we flash back up to the battle for second overalls, John Allen, all he can do is just take strategic track position and see if he can hold it. Looks like Caleb Lavender is going to go to the inside. Don't know if he's got enough though on this lap.
Not quite enough. Jumped out maybe a little bit too early, Larry, and John Allen pulled over. Driver's right to cover just early enough. I mean, this is a corner turn 4. Where, I mean, you will obviously see a lot of overtaking there, but you don't want to be pinned all the way to the curbing on driver's right going into it, given the way that track opens up and starts to head up the hill. And Lavender thought better of it, certainly got back in line, and he's got a couple more chances. Again, we've got about 8.5 minutes remaining here in this first 30-minute race.
And this battle waging on here, this is the battle for 4th with Nate Nicholson and Travis Schwenke. as those guys seem to have lost a little bit of ground to the battles going on in front of them, but this has created a great one-on-one battle. Schwenke started this race up in 3rd, now in 5th, just hounding the back of Nate Nicholson. It just shows how tough a place this is to pass. Love corner 1 though. Just kind of throw it in, float the car, rub that in apex curb, and hope you have enough momentum to make a pass before the keyhole, which you just never do.
Yeah, and it sounded like Schwenke was just kind of bouncing off the rev limiter there, just as they came underneath the bridge. As you just kind of give that tiniest of little brushes of the brake pedal to set the nose and get the rear end to rotate around a little bit there, and then carry the speed out. It's a fine line there when the rev limiter in these cars is set somewhere just around 8,000 RPM.
They flash back to the leader, Mike Dam, still holding, although it's gone down a bunch as John Allen is maybe with a little bit of help of pushing from Caleb. Maybe those two are working together. It was a 1.5 before, now less than 1 second between Dam and Allen. With about 8 minutes to go, this could be a race if Lavender helps to push a little bit and doesn't hold these two up. These guys could make a run at Mike Dam.
Yeah, I think that the using the draft there, it looks as though Lavender's been still, kind of sticking his nose in a little bit, looking for possible opportunities to get the position. But I think certainly now as the clock starts to run down, Larry, and we have 7 minutes remaining, if Lavender at this point wants to start battling John Allen, any chances of a gold medal of the top step on the podium, it's over. So,
well, and given the positioning, not only does it hurt your chances of trying to win the race, it actually easily brings back in Nate Nicholson and Travis Schwenke, who are sitting 4th, 5th. They're only a second and a half back from these guys. And I've run enough races on this platform to know that as soon as you start to battle, you lose in instantly 1 second. So if you think you're going to finish 2nd, you can easily finish 5th by screwing this up and mistiming your attempt to pass. So very strategic here at this point between Lavender and Allen of when and how they try to fight.
All right, here as we watch Mike Dam, John Allen, Caleb Lavender come down the back straight, and it looks like they do have some slower traffic that they're coming up on. Looks like the number 95 machine, that is Russ Ruddick, who rejoined the action after his early incident, and I'm sure that car not quite up to pace at this point. We'll have to see if that comes into play a little bit later on here in the race. But let's look at this, Larry, as Cranston coming down. That's Brennan Horan now in the 45 machine. And I believe in addition to that, and Cranston gets put around.
No.
And was that, we'll have to see, was that Greg Mack or was that Jordy Fike?
It was Fike he was battling with. Mack was just trailing them, I believe. I'm sure we'll get queued up a replay in a few minutes here. But yeah, that looked like they were going to be clear and be able to run down through that section there side by side. But it is slippery. It is tough to hold the control there. May have been a little contact, or it's even possible to be lost on its own. We'll have to kind of wait and see. They are going to take a look at that.
All right, let's take a look at the replay here. Jordy Fike and Cranston, and this has been referred to the stewards as they come down, they get together, going in. Yeah,
that's at 4. That's even before this.
Yeah, before they go up and over the hill, we had contact at the apex of 4, and then coming up through Madness as Cranston went around. And you'll notice there as Cranston was just getting that car back together, Steve Daniel, driver of the number 96 machine, he takes over the AM category lead now. He's running in 10th. So all of that scheming that I had done earlier, if Cranston was able to hold on to 7th position, and at the start of that replay, it looked like Cranston was going to move from 8th into 7th.
Well, we got a lot of things going on right now. You've got what looks like Lavender pushing, trying to make a move on John Allen here for 2nd overall in the race. Not able to this time.
Yeah, and so that has gone and given Dam maybe a little bit of breathing room here with just about 4 minutes remaining.
A couple other things we got going on. You mentioned about Cranston losing the lead there in the AM class. Not only did he lose the lead, he's not even in 2nd, as Weber was able to sneak on by as well and pushing Cranston 3rd. But those guys are nose to tail. We'll get back to them in a minute. But the transfer spot, as we call it, sitting in 7th right now is Jordy Fike, but the stewards are looking at it. Should there be any penalty, Greg Mack, Jordy's teammate, is currently sitting in 8th. So we're going to keep an eye on all these little stories here as we've got all of about 4 minutes to go in sprint number 1. Allen running wide through the carousel, giving Lavender a chance here on the front straight.
Yeah, and I'm starting to wonder, Larry, as John Allen appears to be losing some tires, and now side by side as they go into turn number 1.
Oh no, and there goes Lavender around in one. He's
right.
gone.
And he goes off to the inside there at turn 1. I don't know if he got to the curbing at the exit of the pit lane. And might have popped up the rear and went around. That is now going to move Nathan Nicholson up into 3rd. Travis Schwenke sitting now in 4th. And Brennan Horn sitting in 5th position. And I was just going to say that Lavender looked as though perhaps he wasn't really pushing or pressuring John Allen, that Allen was maybe just getting a little sloppier. The tires were starting to go away from him. And as Lavender tried to move to the inside, pop the curb, and around he goes. As we now take a look here at the battle between we've got Schwenke and Nate Nicholson. Again, this is the battle now for the last step on the podium, and you'll see there that looks like the stewards have assigned blame in that incident between the 09 of Jordy Fike and Nate Cranston as well.
Yeah, so there's going to be that one, but I think we've got a replay of Lavender spin in 1. Let's check this out. As Lavender's on the inside of John Allen, and you can see as he goes through there, just does catch that curb, as you mentioned, and it just hooks the car, hooks that left front tire all the way under it, and just leaves you out to dry, especially because you can't straighten your hands and run outward because he had John Allen out there. So worked out well for John Allen. Unfortunately for Lavender, drops him all the way back to 11th. But what that means, it puts him out of the top 7. It puts Fike in 6th, Mack in 7th, and Peyton in 8th. And I mentioned Peyton in 8th because Fike was just given that penalty.
I was going to say, Fike was given that drive-through penalty.
Yep.
So that's now going to move David Peyton in the 64 machine up into 7th position. And then Steve Daniel currently sitting in 8th.
And Daniel's only 1 second behind David Peyton. So this transfer spot's not over yet with probably two laps to go.
I was going to say probably 2 laps remaining here, as Daniel is, I think, definitely within drafting range of David Peyton.
And you see Peyton just sticking to the back of Greg Mack saying, all I want to do is push you along.
That's right. Push me, pull you, whichever one of the two. Because, if Daniel can get around Peyton, the same story that we were talking about with Cranston about 5 minutes ago is that that would move Daniel up to pole for race number 2, and then Weber, who is 2nd in the AMP category right now, it would have him starting 13th.
Yeah, that would be a huge opportunity here for Steve Daniel, just like we did talk about with Cranston. The Cranston-Weber battle, though, just let you kind of update on that, has split apart. Weber now 2 seconds up on Cranston, so things kind of falling apart for Jeff Cranston here in this race, unfortunately for him. But for Steve Daniel, this is just, talk about a gift just falling in your lap right now. Even if he doesn't get the transfer spot, he's still going to be probably 4 positions ahead of his nearest class rival.
There you go. As Mike Dam, driver the number 93 Ryan Racing machine, comes onto the front straight, he's going to take the white flag, 1 lap to go. Checkered flag will be here on the small front straight at the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Car. So we are on the very last lap. John Allen now running in 2nd. He's got to hold off Nathan Nicholson and Travis Schwenke.
Oh, we might have a 3 wide coming.
3 wide heading down the straight into the keyhole. And Schwenke, he's going to try and sneak underneath Nathan Nicholson, and he gets the job done. So move Schwenke now up into 3rd. He is now on the last step of the podium. And John Allen, he's got about 3/4 of a lap to hold these 2 drivers off.
Well, that may have helped to having Schwenke take that line on the inside going into the keyhole. Might have actually helped him because he did not get the great run coming out of it. This might give Nicholson a chance to do the over-under here, stay on the outside in 4, give you the inside in 5, and I think he's going to do just that. But not many chances now to get around John Allen. The 2 of them separated themselves and not able to do it. Schwenke nowhere to go. It was a great pass into the keyhole, but unfortunately, you just don't get the same exit down that back straight.
Yeah, and he had a nose up going into turn 4, just was not enough to keep Nicholson from carrying speed through the outside of 4 and up the hill into madness over turn 5. As our leader, Mike Dam, now comes through turn 10 through 11 now into the carousel, and once again dropping downhill off camber, rolling through turn 12 with just 1 more corner remaining. Mike Dam, our pole sitter from race 1, he's going to cross the line. He's going to take the win. That will set him up 7th for race number 2, but congratulations to Mike Dam, our winner in pro. John Allen will come home 2nd. Nate Nicholson will hold on to 3rd position, finishing just
look
off
at
the
this.
podium.
This
in
is
20.
huge.
And now here we go, coming through turn 13. It happens. Steve Daniel gets around David Payton on the very last corner. Daniel, he's going to take the win in the AM category, but more importantly, he's going to start on the pole for race number 2. He's going to start on the pole in a 27-car field, and his next closest competitor in class is going to be Eugene Weber, who comes home 2nd in AM. Weber is going to start 13th. He's going to start on the inside of the 7th row. Larry, there are going to be 7 rows separating our pole sitter for race 2, Steve Daniel.
Wow,
and
that's
Eugene
huge
Weber.
for Steve. Unbelievable. I almost wondered there if David Payton had run out of fuel. The way he was crawling coming out of the carousel there, or serving a course cup penalty or something. He was very, very slow to come out of there. Great opportunity for Steve Daniel. Look at him. I'm sure he's just thrilled right now, having won his class, and then right there in the transfer spot, he'll be on pole to start race number 2. This could be pretty exciting second race.
All right, so Larry, tell you what, why don't we take a quick little break here as our drivers are going to get set and ready for race number 2. You have just seen race number 1 from the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course on the Extreme Motorsports Ricmotech Classic Sprint Series presented by Performa Texas Elite Graphics, and we'll be right back.
Ricmotech, high-performance sim racing equipment. Whether you're just looking to have fun, train for race day, or become a serious esports competitor, Ricmotech has you covered. Hundreds of name brand parts. Support from experts that love sim racing. Trusted by the pros. There's only one place to go, Ricmotech.com. Ricmotech, high-performance sim racing equipment. There's only one place to go, Ricmotech.com.
All right, and we are back here at the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course for the Extreme Motorsports Ricmotech Classic Sprint Series presented by Performa Texas Elite Graphics. I'm Greg Ginsberg along with Larry Lefty McLeod. And Larry, heck of a finish there in race number 1. Let's run down the finishers here as we saw on track from pole to checker. Mike Dam of Orion Racing takes the pro category and overall win. John Allen in the Seamless Racing Mazda MX-5 finishes 3 seconds back. Nathan Nicholson comes home in 3rd in the Delta Sport entry. Then Travis Schwenke and Brennan Horn rounding out the top 5 in the pro category. And then Steve Daniel with the pass. At this point, I would call it the pass of the night. Whether or not David Payton ran out of fuel or not, Steve Daniel on the very last turn takes the win. He was your leader in the AM category, but more importantly, he's now going to start on the pole for race number 2. Eugene Weber from Weber Racing, he finishes 2nd in the category, and Jeff Cranston, who so unfortunate for him, he was your pole sitter in AM, got together with another driver not once but twice. He finishes on the last step of the podium in his Cranny Customs entry. Greg Brockway finishes 4th, and Dean Dibdahl, who's running 2nd in the points to Weber, also had some challenges with some of his fellow competitors on track, and Dibdahl comes home in 5th position in the AM category.
So I think obviously, the man with the best opportunity here is going to be your pole sitter, Steve Daniel, in his class, because he does, as you say, he's got 13 spots or so between he and his nearest rival.
Yeah.
But I'm looking down the order and saying, can we see someone come from deep in the field? Can we see the 7th place? Can he actually come up, Mike Dam, the winner of race 1, come actually back and win this and get by everybody? I think he's got the pace to do it.
Yes.
And I also look at Caleb Lavender, who had that unfortunate spin there with about 2 laps to go side by side with John Allen. He dropped all the way to 11th. He's only going to be 2 rows behind Mike Dam on the starting grid.
That's right.
If he's able to hook up with Mike, it's not impossible to think that in 30 minutes, Lavender could be up there on the podium to win to finish this race. It's not going to be easy, but I think it's not impossible either.
Yeah, I remember Lavender finished 3rd a couple of weeks ago at Barber Motorsports Park, and I thought as this first race wound down, Larry, I thought he definitely had pace over John Allen, not that Allen was holding him up, but the car, I said it at the time, the car just looked much stronger on track, and unfortunate placing there coming through turn 1. That curbing on the pit exit, Caleb Lavender is not the first driver either in sim world or in real life to be caught out by that curbing there. It's the car just gets completely unloaded to the inside, and it'll put you around.
Yeah, absolutely. It's well known, but no matter how much you think it's there and you think it's not going to be you that catches it, it's still that worst case scenario. And if you do it alongside, going for a pass makes it even harder, because sometimes you can straighten up out of it and kind of let the car ride to the outside and miss it. But unfortunately, he couldn't do that because he had John Allen all the way up his right mirror and nowhere to go. Luckily for him, was able to just kind of spin the car around and keep going. And luckily for John Allen, didn't impact him, and he was able to go on to that podium finish. For Caleb, I think he's going to have to work pretty hard, but I don't think a podium is out of the question here for him in race number 2.
No, I don't think it is. And you can see they're getting Caleb, one of our only drivers on track, getting some extra seat time in before our drivers grid up for our second race. And they are going to start gridding up just about now, Larry. So tell you what, I'll run down the starting order for tonight's second race of the evening here from the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. Starting on pole, he was your race 1 winner in the AM category, representing SKKJ Racing, Steve Daniel, and right next to him in the team Esport Racer number 2 car, it's going to be Greg Mack. Brennan Horan in listing him as Slicks Racing, not Team Esport Racer. Maybe we'll find out about that at the end of this race. Brendan Horn, he's going to start on the inside of row number 2 with Travis Schwenke from Orion Racing starting next to him in 4th. Nate Nicholson will start on the inside of row number 3 with John Allen, our second place finisher from race number 1, starting next to him in 6th. Mike Dam, our winner from race number 1, the Orion Racing number 93. He will start on the inside of row number 4 with David Payton right next to him, starting in 8th. Tony Kernan in the Kernan Motorsports machine will start 9th with Jeff Jacobs. In the StreetSurvival.org Mazda MX-5 starting in 10th. Making up row number 6, Caleb Lavender in the number 333 D2D E-Racing entry, starting right beside Jordy Fike in the 09 Esport Racer machine. Now we get to the bulk of our AM category with Eugene Weber in the number 54 Weber Racing machine. He will start 13th. He is your current leader in the AM category this season. Jeffrey Cranston, our pole sitter in AM from race number 1, he'll start next to him in 14th. In row number 8, Josh Soto will start 15th with Greg Brockway 16th. And then if we run down the rest of the field, it's Dean Dibdahl, Carson Caitlin, Robert Briss, John Casey, Nick Parsono, Edgar Sancinelli, then Clint Vigas and Chris Thorman, then Michael Key, Russ Ruddick, Mike Taylor rounding out the field. And again, drivers still getting heat in their tires, although iRacing may tell you it's a green flag. Our drivers, they will take the green on the back straight. And so our pole sitter, Steve Daniel, he's got the field. Starting next to him will be Greg Mack, and the field is now starting to get lined up here, Larry.
Just like we'd seen in the first race, the driver on the outside, again, could have that advantage if you can stay alongside through turn 4, because it puts you right down the inside, then the crest of that hill for 5. And I think it's a good opportunity there for Greg Mack to maybe some lead. But that Brennan Horan is hungry for this start. Look at him. He's ready to push Steve Daniel down there to turn 4 already.
Yeah, and you can see here Greg Mack maybe dropping back a little bit, Larry, as they came out of the keyhole. Might not have the run that he needs as we get ready for the green flag here. And there it is. Green flag is in the air, and we are racing here from Mid-Ohio. Look at that start. That was Sancinelli jumping to the inside, and he's already made up. It looks like 3 rows, Larry, coming down the center.
And Horan is pushing Steve Daniel. Backs off there as he gets down, but there it is, the outside driver with an advantage. And unfortunately for Steve Daniel, he does, and that's going to hurt him. But he's going to get back in. He's going to go right to the back of the field. All that work, all that luck in the race 1 vanished at the first turn of race 2.
And Larry, I'll tell you, as our new leader, Greg Mack, leads Travis Schwenke, John Allen, and Nathan Nicholson down through the S's for the very first time, and they set up for turn number 9.
Well, that's the guy I'm watching there. If you'd seen, I think that was race 1 winner Mike Dam on the inside of the grass.
Yeah, absolutely, Larry. So a little bit, maybe a little further back than you expect. There he is, as Mike Dam now falls back from 8th position down to 14th, drops 7 positions on the start here. And another car that's just gone off, and I think that was Tony Kernan in the black number 7 machine, goes off driver's left going through the carousel here. So lots of problems for some of our top drivers from race number 1. But Larry, going back to that start, with Steve Daniel going off off at the apex of turn number 4. He made a very late move, and I was a little surprised there that he brought the car under braking all the way down to the very inside driver's right going into turn number 4, and actually opened up and would have allowed Greg Mack to maybe even squeeze him a little bit more, and also gave a little bit of room to Brennan Horn if he had wanted to drive around the outside. It was a very strange move to make, and obviously
I get the feeling, that maybe he was thinking, let me just kind of start the race and kind of let a few of these guys go by and not screw things up. And unfortunately, he moved a little bit too far over and didn't help himself much. Travis Schwenke, though, let's go right to the front of this race. Travis Schwenke has earned himself the lead, gotten by Greg Mack. But John Allen, what a tremendous start there, having started this race in 6th, now up to 3rd already.
Yeah, and he makes his way up through the field just as Mike Dam was falling down through the field. Dam sitting down in 13th position, but great move by Schwenke on cold tires going into turn number 4, getting around Greg Mack in head position going up the hill into turn 5. But now it looks like most of the field starting to line up here, and with Steve Daniel going off on lap number 1. If we take a look at that AM category, you'll see everything starting to line up here. Eugene Weber, who was our points leader in the AM category coming into the evening, he is your leader. But look at this, Dean Dibdahl pitching a cone. Dean Dibdahl now sitting right behind him in the number 19 machine, as Dibdahl made up 5 positions on the very first lap here. So we're going to have a heck of a battle in the AM category, I think, Larry.
Oh, this is just getting chaotic. But yes, I think the AM category here is just going to go heads up. There they are with the race 1 winner, Mike Dam, right on the heels. This could be a fun one to watch. But also up into the order, I talked about John Allen, his tremendous start. Brennan Horan, all of a sudden he's back down into 6th. So you've seen some ups, you've seen some downs. There is Horan right there, the number 45, just ahead of Caleb Lavender. And for Horan, he'd love to get back up in there. We thought maybe he'd be leading this race at this point, but unfortunately he's fallen down a little bit, letting the folks like John Allen, Nate Nicholson get on by. As Nicholson now in 4th, Allen now to 2nd already with Travis Schwenke in his sights. And there's the 07 of Soto with that rough start in race 1. This looks like a little better now, up to 9th overall.
All right, Larry, and getting word that Edgar Sancinelli, we talked about that great start that he had.
It was too good.
Yeah, it was indeed too good. So one of the rules is that you can't make any passes until you get to the start-finish line, where that big Honda, that big tower is on the back straight. And we saw Edgar Sancinelli make a great run, made up like 3 rows, but he did it before the start-finish line.
Yeah.
So
well,
he gets a drive-through penalty.
got his name on TV, and so now he's famous, unfortunately, for a tremendous start that was just a bit too good. As we just saw Nicholson making the pass on Greg Mack.
As the junior member of Frito Sport Racing, maybe something about old age and experience comes into play here. Oh, going wide, coming out of the keyhole. That was David Payton drops the wheel. Looked like the car was leaned over all the way onto the door handles there to get the thing back under
entry onto the grass, back onto the tarmac, right in front of. I think at the moment there was Lavender. Now he's in behind him, but that was a bit scary for a moment there.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
They flash up to the front here. But John Allen still hounding Schwenke. These guys pulling away just a little bit.
Yeah, Allen, I mean, and this is what we saw at the beginning of race number 1. Of course, instead of Travis Schwenke, it was his Orion Racing teammate, Mike Dam. But again, then they at least John Allen started to fall back to the rest of the field. Wasn't able to keep up the pace. We'll have to see here. Obviously, Allen had a little bit better pace than Schwenke in race number 1.
It's a good shot of Mike Key, the other Frito Sport Racing driver. We talked to him in the pre-race. He's got himself right now 7th in class.
That's right. So we've got just ahead of him, there is Steve Daniel, who is our pole sitter from tonight's race, sitting 18th overall right now, 6th in the AM category, with, as you mentioned, Mike Key sitting right behind him, Robert Brist, Carson Caitlin as well. So a great little lineup there of AM category drivers trying to battle their way up through the order.
There's a shot of Mike Dam from the rear, I believe, of Jacobs looking back at him. Mike Dam, of course, started the race in 7th as race 1 winner and just had a struggle there. I think he got caught out on the wrong side of a couple of battles and didn't want to lose it all there and lost about 6-7 spots, trying to get himself back into the top 10 and catch these guys up in the front. And those guys in front still, Travis Schwenke holding off John Allen. Nate Nicholson, Greg Mack, 3 and 4. Lavender Payton, 5 and 6.
And we'll see here as a couple of drivers are starting to queue up. Not that only 2 cars starting to queue up behind Nicholson. We'll see if he can drag them up to our top 2 drivers there over towards Schwenke and John Allen.
As we've got a replay, it looks like our incident being reviewed of Jeff Jacobs and I believe Tony Kernan,
the number 7 machine.
We'll see what the ruling is on that one. Those guys currently running 11th and 12th, although a couple of cars of the M class in between the 11th and 12th and pro for Jacobs and Kernan.
Yeah, no,
I'm still running.
I'm wondering, Larry, because we saw, if you remember, on lap 1 coming through the carousel, we saw Tony Kernan go very wide, and I'm wondering if perhaps he had a little help getting out there. As things were still a little hectic in turn 1, and you can see there the stewards have taken no action. And now, Larry, I think almost side by side, coming up a little bit further is Dibdahl and Weber as they came out of turn 1 and heading over towards the keyhole. And I think Dean Dibdahl now, and that gray number 19, he has managed to get around Eugene Weber to take the lead in the AM category with that yellow number 38 streetsurvival.org machine of Jeff Jacobs, just slightly ahead. Jacobs is currently sitting at the tail end of that big pro category pack, currently running 11th.
Yeah, I don't know if this battle's quite over yet. I think Weber might be able to stick with him for a little while. We'll see. They've still got to work their way around the always wide car driving Jeff Jacobs in that number 38 Street Survival car. He's going to hold him off for a little while. We'll see if he can do it for another 21 minutes. I'm so sure he can.
Exactly. And we have drivers that have gone off. I think that was Josh Soto in the 7 machine that went off.
And Jordy Fike, the 9, involved in that.
Yeah, there we go. Another machine off, the 09 machine. That's going to drop them back. And I think possibly, let's see. And by the way, we're getting word now that David Payton has headed into the pits. Not sure what the reasoning is for that. Maybe to repair some damage.
Not sure, but it is getting a little wild and crazy here in Mid-Ohio here tonight with the second race inverted start. And it's not all in the top 7. Some of this stuff is happening. So these these battles and these offs and these contacts, these are people that they finished next to in race 1. So it's just kind of a continuation of, not necessarily an out of position type of thing.
Yeah, and Larry, I think, and let's take a look at the replay here. I think David Payton might have been involved in that incident going down. Let's see here.
Little grass.
Yep, going around.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. That's when you catch the grass on the outside, and grass grip is not good.
Yeah, so there you go. Yeah, David Payton going around. Looks like he kicked the festivities off there, and he is now in the pit lane getting repairs. Hopefully he'll be able to rejoin here as we take a look. The 98 and the 76 currently under review. The 98 of Mike Key and then Carson Caitlin, and both of those drivers have now dropped back to 11th and 12th in the AM category, and we'll wait to hear what the findings are there.
Tell you what, it looks like Cale Lavender finally able to get around Greg Mack, because we had the camera on this battle for a little while. Mack putting up one tremendous fight, able to hold Lavender off through turns 4, 5, and 6, but not quite enough, as before they got the carousel, he was able to get on by.
Oh,
there's a car in the grass there.
Well, I mean, that's sometimes the fastest way through, Larry.
Is that Kernan, the number 7?
No, it's just ahead of Kernan. I believe that was Josh Soto in the 07 that went through the grass. We've got the black 7 and the black 07.
And the black 54 and Weber right there as well. Getting a little hectic back here. I can tell you though, what happened here though is Dibdall has put some daylight between he and the rest of the pack, and that's good for him. Not so good for Weber, who's his chief rival trying to chase him down. As Jeff Jacobs has got quite the train following him right now.
Yes, he does. Yeah, indeed he does right now, Larry.
This could get interesting or ugly. See how this goes. They're going to at least go 2 wide. Is Jordy Fike going to pop out, make it 3, or is he just going to stay in line?
And Jacobs goes all the way down to the inside to defend. I guess it's to defend. I don't know.
It's to survive.
Yeah.
I don't think there's much defending going on. He does defend from a second pass, but man,
Kernan
that's almost
Kernan got very loose going through Madness just ahead of him. Managed to get the rear end back under control there.
And Fike is just continuing to pressure Jacobs so much where he looked he was going to go around the outside in 8, but instead he gets on the inside as they get through 9. I don't know if he can hold this here through 10, though.
All right, Larry, just got word that Carson Caitlin, the 76 driver, I don't even want to break away as this is going on. But Carson Caitlin's been assigned responsibility for that incident with Michael Key, and he has been given a drive-through penalty.
Yeah, Soto got right up into the back. He manages to hang on to it. Now he's alongside Jacobs as Fike gets on by.
And all the while, Eugene Weber, who was in that battle with Dean Dibdall, still was the only one of those drivers that has not been able to get around Jeff Jacobs, and that's allowed Dibdall now to open up. I guess
he's 5 seconds in front of us.
Yeah, and put almost 4 cars between he and Weber.
Oh, he totally said bye, and he's off. He's hitched his wagon to Brennan Horn at this point, and he's thinking he's got himself locked in at a top 10 in the overall, maybe even thinking he might get into a top 5 if he and Brennan can pick up the pace a little bit here in the next 15.
Yeah, and Larry, I was just watching here, and yeah, there we go. Let's jump back to this battle for the lead, because Nathan Nicholson now in that black number 56 machine, he has made it a 3-driver, 3-car battle for the lead here. That advantage that Travis Schwenke and John Allen had early on in this race, it has been erased, and now we've got the 56 machine in the battle here. We'll have to see what John Allen does sitting in the middle there.
I tell you what, the longer this goes on, the more opportunity for Caleb Lavender to try and catch this battle, as he's about 2 seconds behind it. But if Schwenke has a little bit of a slip up and the other guys can't take advantage of it, just going to bring them all right back in Lavender. And then a second or so behind him is Mike Dam, race 1 winner. So we are far from over. We're just the halfway point. And I think there's just as much excitement and suspense here in the next 15 as we've seen so far in the first.
That's it. Yeah, 15 minutes remaining in this second of 2 30-minute races from the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course on the Extreme Motorsports Ricmotech Classic Sprint Series presented by Performance Texas Elite Graphics. And yeah, buckle up, everybody. It's going to get good.
Yeah, and it's starting to turn into these battles for the front. As you mentioned, we got the top three, Schwenke, Allen, Nicholson, separated by 8/10 between the three of them. And then you've got Lavender, Mack, and race one winner Mike Dam essentially lined up behind them. And there you can see them in the background. Now it looks like John Allen going to try to make the move on Schwenke, try and stick that outside line through 4.
And I don't think he's quite close
He's
enough,
there.
Larry.
He is there. He's going to make it work.
Well, and let's see here as they come through Madness side by side. He's now going to get pitched to the outside going through turn number 6, but he gets the pass done. And so John Allen now, he is your new leader. Move Travis Schwenke back to second. And, you know, Larry, I think it was time he needed to get it done because although Nicholson did not get a good run out of the keyhole, and maybe because Nicholson didn't get a good run out of the keyhole, it gave Allen just maybe a little bit extra breathing room in case the move didn't work.
Yeah.
He didn't have to worry about Nicholson kind of sneaking underneath him.
Well, that's the fun of three-way battles, is if you're in the middle of that, which John was, you go to the outside, leaves your rival behind you an opportunity to follow the leader up the inside. Well, because, as you say, not a great run for Nicholson, that move wasn't there for him, allowing Allen the chance to try to go outside, knowing he could still slip back in as they came around if it didn't work. It did work. Now he's got himself a little bit of daylight, leaving Schwenke and Nicholson to battle behind him. And Lavender, though, is coming, and he's bringing with him Greg Mack and Mike Dam.
That's right. He's bringing two people with him. And that little battle going into turn 4 just a lap ago, Larry, that did allow Lavender to knock, I'd say, probably about 3/10 off of the gap. And now we're going to see if Schwenke tries to return the favor. He was about a car length and a half back coming out of the keyhole. I don't think he's going to be quite close enough, but you can see already John Allen, he's going to take and he likes that move from the outside. That if Schwenke tries to push it down the inside, he just has to be a little bit later on the brakes. And there you go. Once again, Allen, he's going to hold off Schwenke, but now Nicholson comes underneath the number 16 Orion Racing machine.
Ooh, that's aggressive.
It was. He had the opening there, and he took it. So now move Nicholson up to second, and in the course of 2 laps, Travis Schwenke goes from the lead to third, and all the while, you can see there getting closer and closer is the 333 machine of Caleb Lavender. And as you mentioned, he's got Greg Mack and Mike Dam in very close proximity. He's just pulling them along and lots of time left.
I'm shocked that move from Nicholson worked. He was able to just sort of follow that inside line. And I really thought that Schwenke had then the inside for 5, but he still wasn't able to hold him off. He ended up getting pinched in there and not able to get a good exit, giving up that position to Nicholson. But we're far from over. And as you mentioned, you got Lavender now. There he is. 8/10 back of this with Mack right there, Mike Dam right there. This could be all 6 of these guys. Top 6 is up in the air right now.
That's right. I mean, he may not be that close right now, but then here we go. Look at Schwenke now trying to come underneath Nicholson, going up into the keyhole. Makes a good turn in there. Nicholson is going to have to stay wide, going to have to drive a much greater distance, and Travis Schwenke gets the pass done. That'll move him back up in the second. This looks
like the finish of the first race. It's the same move, isn't it?
It does. And now you can see Schwenke coming all the way down the inside there, makes an early move to the kink there, and Nicholson follows him along.
Pushing.
Yeah, and I think Nicholson's trying to figure out whether or not he should follow John Allen through. Makes a real late decision, and for a moment there, it looked like Lavender might have been close enough to sneak it underneath the Nicholson. Not quite there though, but he'll be there next lap, Larry. It is now.
And the fastest one of this group right now is the guy at the back of the group, Mike Dam, race 1 winner. He's been the fastest all night, fastest in practice, fastest on pole. Didn't even need his 3rd and 4th laps of qualifying to get on that pole. He won that first race going away. He's the quickest. The problem is he's got 5 cars between he and seeing that checker flag again. That's
right. And 10 minutes remaining, about 1/3 of this half-hour race remaining, and as close as all these cars are, making up 5 or 6 positions to work your way to the lead in this group is going to be exceedingly difficult.
If you can pick up 1 a lap, I don't think there's enough laps for him to do it.
Right.
He's going to have to. Hate to say it, he's going to need chaos. Not that I'm rooting for chaos, but as an announcer, I love to see chaos.
I am, yeah.
So we'll see. We're going to have to see some 2 wide moves. Lavender now seeing if he can get a run on Nicholson. Not able to there. He's going to go check back to the left and see if he can push Nicholson to the inside. As we are on board there. We were on board for a second there with Mike Dam. Now on the outside, he's going to try and dispatch of Greg Mack as fast as he can.
Yeah. And you know, Larry, as we continue to have some of these battles up for first and second, and maybe for the battle for third between Nicholson and Lavender, that may make things a little bit easier for Mike Dam, as he looks like he is going to get around Greg Mack going down into turn 4 here. But John Allen, once again, maybe the tires starting to give up on him a little bit early here, as Schwenke, Nicholson, and Lavender all jockeying for that second position. And wow, it is getting rough here. Probably the saving grace for John Allen, as again, I think it looks like the tires starting to go away on him a little bit earlier than a lot of these other drivers. Is that, as Schwenke, Nicholson, and Lavender battle it out for second, it gives him a little breathing room. If you like what you're seeing,
don't forget to click the subscribe, hit the like, do all that stuff, because this is how this series is. Do not miss these ever on Monday nights. These are awesome. And I cannot wait. Where's the next move coming? Is it going to be Schwenke again, or are we looking at a Lavender move, possibly down the inside of Nicholson here, maybe even going to keyhole just the same way Schwenke did to him?
All right, as you can see there, another incident under review. Michael Key involved in another one with the, I believe it was the 51 car of Robert Brist. So it's tough back there in working man's country tonight, Larry. Almost as tough as up at the front of the field here, as John Allen leads the field out of the keyhole onto the back straight. And now Schwenke and Nicholson not close enough to John Allen, but looks like it looks like Schwenke's got a tiny little breathing room. Though we'll have to see if Lavender's going to poke to the inside. There it is. Late on the brakes for Caleb Lavender. Is he going to hold it on track? He does manage to keep from going into China Beach, but he is going to lose a position now.
Maybe two.
And let's take a look. Yeah, there you go. As Mike Dam gets around Caleb Lavender. So move Dam now up into 4th position, move Lavender back to 5th, and that was just, Larry, you knew the move was coming, but
I think he just missed his breaking point.
Yeah.
Blinked or something. He's lucky he didn't go on his roof in China Beach, because that was a bold move that I don't think he would have ever meant to do.
No,
maybe he was thinking he had to do something, but that was not it.
And thankfully, Nicholson and also Schwenke, for that matter, didn't get caught up in it.
Yeah,
because he was carrying a ton of speed right down to the apex.
Oh, he was completely, he was a 16-pounder looking for the 710 split as he went down there. And luckily didn't hit any pins, just threw it, didn't even get in the gutter for him. So,
right.
so close. But we are clean. We are still
nobody
going.
Set up the baby rails either.
Exactly. But what it did is it gave Mike Dam another position. Now we are 7 minutes from the checker, and Mike Dam, race winner, still picking his way through. It's not over yet.
Nope, not at all. And we can see, and we've seen it all race, Larry, the effect of the draft here on the back straight. Certainly there is enough room if you can get a good run out of the keyhole to pull up on the nose and at least stick the nose into the inside.
Watch Schwenke. He's right there. Yeah, he's inside of John Allen's car. He's that close. Not this time around, but boy, he was there. I think he's worried about the counter move. He's worried about the second move coming from behind from Nicholson. And I think at this point he's a little bit tight, doesn't want to try and give that up. Yeah. Because it is some of that, when the guy behind you makes good eggs at a keyhole, it makes it really hard to try your own move.
Yeah, and as we've seen here, if you can carry speed through the outside of turn 4 and up the hill, you can sneak underneath, and it wouldn't take much, I think, for Schwenke to try and force himself to the inside of turn 4 for Nicholson to basically just try and follow John Allen through.
Yeah, right now everyone's collecting data and figuring out where do they want to make their pass. But if you're beyond 3rd, where your race 1 winner Mike Dan is, you need to pick up spots before we get down to those last laps. If you're in 3rd, maybe you can make a hero's passes and pick up 2, but you can't do it from 4th. You're going to have to get on by there, which means nobody wants to be in 4th. That might be the best battle right now. Mike Dam knows it. He's going to probably try to make a move on Nicholson now, because with about, we'll say, maybe 3 laps to go, he's going to have to make moves soon as Nicholson protects to the inside.
Yeah, there we go. As Nicholson and Mike Dam comes right underneath the tailpipe of that black number 56 machine as they come onto the back straight. Again, very
Here's the
little
move. It's
ground
coming from
separating.
Dam. This is going to be
let's
it.
take a look, and you can already see that Nicholson is a little trying to protect there to the inside and staying to the inside, and I think Dam's going to just try and go right around him on the outside there. The question is whether or not Schwenke's going to hold up that charge as they come through turn number 4 and start to make the way up the hill through Madness. Now the 93 machine, he's got position as they come down the hill, and Nicholson, he's not giving it up yet.
But he's going to have to here. Yep.
Yeah.
As you get through these S's, you got no shot. Again, that's what Mike Dam needed. Lavender trying to get a piece of it as well, coming on the outside at 9.
Oh, and you
there's contact.
A little bit of contact there. You don't normally see him try to go too wide through 9. And so Lavender now ends up giving up a position to Greg Mack. And so Lavender now sitting back in 6th position, Mack in 5th. As our top 3 now is John Allen, it's Travis Schwenke, and it is Schwenke's teammate, Mike Dam. We were talking, Larry, about 6 minutes ago, how we didn't know if there was enough time for Mike Dam to make his way to the front. Well, he's dispatched half of that pack already.
And I'm trying to do this mental math, saying we still might have 3 laps to go. We got 4 minutes. Now
4
we should
minutes
be
at a lap and a half as they and they had just
maybe
come
3
through.
laps.
Yeah, I think
Yeah, because 2 laps is about 3 minutes.
3 minutes.
We've got 4 when they came across start finish, so we have to look at 3 more laps of this. So, and these drivers have to be thinking about that, especially Schwenke right now in the middle of this, because he's got to be concerned. He knows his teammates quick behind him. He knows John Allen's quick. Schwenke's the one that's probably would love to have this thing over this lap because he's already in 2nd. He's going to try and make a move and try and stay ahead of both these guys. It's going to be tough for him to hold them both off.
Yeah, yes, it will be. But, he's got great positioning going in the 4. Pulls over. Oh, and running a little bit wide coming up through Madness is Travis Schwenke. Dam not able to do anything about it at that point. I think he had already committed to a line there. Wasn't able to come underneath the 16 machine.
And Dam is so good in this type of situation, following closely, and it's an art form. You can watch these things all day long. Go, oh, it must be easy. Trust me, it's not. When all you can see is the back of a couple of Mazda taillights. As the backs of these cars aren't that big, but they really are blinding when you're up on someone's bumper. You can't really see through the corners.
Yeah, you've got that very high rear deck. Yeah,
and Dam is so good at it. The guys that are good, and John Allen's actually another one. These guys are so good at anticipating how early they can get on the gas, even when they can't see the corner because the car is in front of them, because that's the best way to set someone up to make a pass. You can see him doing it right here at the apex. He's just right on Travis's tail end. At this point, he'd love to push Travis to the inside of keyhole and get a better run and hopefully have a shot then at 2nd place before they get down to 4.
All right, Larry. So I think you had the lap count just about right. We're under 2 minutes remaining now, so we should have this lap and one more as they come down. And let's see, Mike Dam doesn't get a spectacular run out of the keyhole, but let's see what Schwenke does.
Schwenke's got to make a move. He can't sit.
And there he goes. He pokes to the inside. Mike Dam, he's going to lay off a little bit and maybe follow John Allen through. No, look at this. Mike
what a move from Allen.
John and Dam makes a very wide entry into 5, and Mike Dam might end up giving up a position to the 56 machine here as they go into the S's. And there you go, Mike Dam. What I think he was trying to get underneath Schwenke going into Madness, Larry, and it just did not work out for him at all. And Mike Dam now under attack from Caleb Lavender as well, who Lavender having gotten around Greg Mack. But it is now John Allen, Travis Schwenke, Nathan Nicholson, your top 3 as they come into the carousel with just one more lap remaining.
I tell you what, that all was a great move for Allen to basically bait him to go down the outside there and maybe think he had it and then be able to duck in by the time they got to 5. And it completely screwed up Mike Dam because he was planning on following through and having a position picked up. Now he goes and loses one and he loses some precious ground. Now we get to do it all over again, but this time for Schwenke, he's got a pretty big buffer behind. He now can make the one move and have a chance to win this race.
All right, and here we go. Yep, and take a look now as Nicholson is about, I'd say about 3/4 of a car length back.
For Schwenke.
Schwenke, though, he tries to make a very late turn in over at the keyhole and gets perhaps his worst run out of the keyhole of the night as they come down the back straight here. He's almost 2 full car lengths back from our leader, John Allen. He's going to make some of that up in the draft, but only gets up to about a half a car length. And John Allen, probably his easiest run through turn 4 all evening long.
Yeah, Schwenke, unfortunately, I think might have broke a little bit deep, but he's going to try and just fill mirrors here. I don't think there's a move there. He's just trying to force Allen and maybe getting offline. Allen's smarter than that, knows just hold your line, keep on driving. And Nicholson, maybe he'll try sticking his nose in on the inside at 9, nothing there.
No, not that time. Although he turned in a little bit later, and I think Nicholson's got his eye on the prize there with Travis Schwenke just ahead of him. You know, he went in underneath Mike Dam going into turn 9. He might try something coming into the carousel, and we'll see here again. Very difficult turn downhill off camber, and he is going to try and sneak underneath the 16, but not close enough to do it. And coming out of turn 13. Onto the straight, John Allen, he is going to be your winner for race number 2 here tonight from the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. Travis Schwenke will finish second. Nate Nicholson will take home the last step on the podium. Mike Dam, our winner from race number 1, he'll come home in 4th. Caleb Lavender finishes in 5th. Greg Mack 6th. Dean Dibdahl takes the win in the AM category. He finishes 7th overall, makes up 10 positions in this second race. Then we've got Tony Kernan. He'll finish 8th overall. Brennan Horn will finish 9th overall. Josh Soto will finish 10th overall. And if we take a look at the rest of our AM category field, Eugene Weber comes home in 2nd. 12th overall. Steve Daniel will come home, makes his way back up through the rest of the AM category field. Great recovery drive by Steve Daniel. He'll finish 3rd tonight in our second race. Nick Parsono will finish in 4th. Mike Taylor 5th in that AM category.
Wow, what a race! What a race! We got some drivers to talk to in this one because this was a nail biter all the way through.
Yeah, we certainly do. All right, so Larry, we're going to take another quick break, and when we come back, we're going to talk to some of our podium finishers here at the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. You've just witnessed rounds 5 and 6 of the Extreme Motorsports Ricmotech Classic Sprint Series, presented by Performa Texas Elite Graphics, and we'll be back in just a moment.
Ricmotech, high-performance sim racing equipment. There's only one place to go, ricmotech.com.
All right, and we are back here at the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course, rounds 5 and 6 of the Ricmotech Classic Sprint Series, presented by Performa Texas Elite Graphics. And let's run down that finishing order from race number 2 tonight, Larry, where John Allen in the Seamless Racing number 101 machine goes from pole, gave up the lead momentarily there, but comes back, takes the win. Travis Schwenke finishing second. Nate Nicholson will, and when I say John Allen took the pole, he was on pole for the AM category. Nate Nicholson finishes third. Mike Dam works his way back up to fourth. Caleb Lavender, your top 5 in pro. In the AM category, Dean Dibdahl takes the win tonight with Eugene Weber finishing second. Steve Daniel, our winner from race number 1, working his way back up to third after that lap 1 spin. Nick Parsono will finish in 4th, and Mikey Taylor rounds out the top 5.
Taylor actually moved up from dead last to start the second race to finish 5th in class, 17th overall. So a good race there for Mike Taylor.
That was a great race for him. And so, Larry, we've got a few folks sitting in the green room right now. Why don't we bring in Let's start off because he ran a pretty suspenseful race 1 and race 2. We're going to bring in Nate Nicholson in the number 56 machine here. Finished second tonight in race number 1, and of course
He was third in both races.
Yeah, that's right. He finished third in race number 1 as well.
All right, Nate Nicholson's joined us, and Mr. Podium tonight gets the third place in both the first and second races. Nate, tell me a little bit about your excitement here in these 2 races.
Yeah, I mean, the first race of the series, it was definitely interesting. The pack racing in these cars is crazy. The draft, I fell back to like 1.2 seconds at a point, but like it's just the draft brings you right back up. So you have to play strategically and try not to let cars behind you get by.
Yeah, and that second race, that pack, you were kind of making your way through. You and Alan were kind of pushing your way. Finally caught up to Schwenke. And you guys had a great battle going. But you talk about that pack and how quickly it came up when Lavender and Dam and Greg Mack caught you guys. The race was on 10 minutes to go. 6 of you. At what point did you think I just need to hold on to whatever I can get?
Yeah, I mean, as soon as we were all within like 5 seconds, I was like, all right, I'm not gonna go for any passes because I don't want to get got on the exit. So I just kind of played passive, and then I know the 2 guys behind me started fighting, and that's when I started trying to, look for opportunities ahead.
Yeah, and then it came down to that last lap. We thought maybe Schwenke had enough of a gap on you to catch Allen. Suddenly he has a bad keyhole turn. You're right on his tail. And then you had Mike Dam kind of fighting for you. In that whole mix, I seen a lot of moves going out into 4. Were you thinking that was going to be a big 3 wide or something on that last lap?
Yeah, on the last lap at the end of the back straight, I saw P2 pull out, and then third place also was kind of looking, and I'm like, all right, I need to slow down, focus on my exit, and see if there's any opportunities, and there ended up being one down the inside of Madness, so I took my opportunity there. He made that move on me actually earlier in the race. That's what kind of, leaned me to make that move, so I went for the move, and it ended up sticking.
Yeah, awesome result. And in this pack, this top 6 really showed the pace. You guys just separated from the rest of the pack so quickly and had some tremendous races, some of the best racing I have seen in a long time, with all 6 of you just jostling for position at a traditionally difficult to pass track. And you're right in the middle of it all night long, both races. You got to feel pretty good about this, and in this kind of a night.
Yeah, it was a good race. It was fun racing with those guys. The racing with these cars is always great. So I'm definitely looking forward to the next race.
Absolutely. We're looking forward to it as well. So, Nate Nicholson, congratulations. A couple of podium
Thank you.
finishes tonight. That's not an easy feat, and well done.
Thank you.
All right, there you go. Nate Nicholson finishing third tonight in race number 1 and race number 2. Larry, let's bring in now Dean Dibdahl, our winner from race number 2 in the AM category.
All right, we've got Dean Dibdahl with us. Dean, we're not even going to talk about race 1. Let's just focus on race 2 for you there. You started back in 17th with, you needed to get by a couple of people in the AM class. You did more than that. So walk me through that second race.
I was just focused on trying to make up places after that race 1 finish. So just starting in the back, I just tried to keep it clean the first lap, avoid all the crashes, get my tires warmed up, and just get ready to pass in the upcoming laps. And it just kind of went my way from there.
Yeah, we had seen at one point you had Weber out in front of you. I think you had Jeff Jacobs from the pro class in that mix, and this pack was sort of building up. You had to find your way through. It looked like you were able to get by that pretty well. Did you know at that point this is your chance to just separate and put daylight down?
Yeah, I just knew from that point I just could put a gap to Weber, and I had the draft of Brennan, which helped a lot.
Yeah, you guys looked like you were going to make a pretty good run to try and catch up, but at some point you were able to get by, Brennan even before the end of the race. These just opportunities. You just take them as they come.
Yeah, I just always looking for those opportunities and just grabbing them.
Yeah, it's a tremendous race too. Again, race 1, a lot of folks didn't have their race 1. Yours looked like a bit of a rough one, but you make up for it here in race 2. I think that's your 4th win here in class in the 6th round so far. Got to feel pretty good here as we get past the midway point of the season.
Yeah, I'm just getting ready for always the next race. Just always grateful for all these wins here. and just more points in the championship.
Absolutely, got to keep your eyes on the end of the season. So, Dean, with the win here in race number 2 in class, do you want to thank anybody for the effort?
Yeah, I'd like to thank Ricmotech for just setting this whole thing up. I'd like to thank Zane Plumley Motorsports, and I'd like to thank my family.
Absolutely, good team you got there working with you. So, congrats, Dean. Great victory here in race number 2, and looking forward to seeing you next time out.
All right, there you go. Dean Dibdahl, our winner from race number 2 in the ZP Motorsports machine. And so, Larry, why don't we bring in our winner in the M category from race number 1, driver the number 96 Mazda MX-5. And that is, if I can get him in here, that is Steve Daniel.
So, Steve Daniel, you had congratulations on the race 1 victory. And I just want to ask, did you know you were passing for the transfer spot on the last lap carousel move?
I've kind of had an idea, but not quite that much. And I certainly wasn't ready to start pole position on race 2. So I made the mistake and downshifted to first gear on the first turn and spun out. So
that explains what we had seen. So that's unfortunate. So you have that issue there on the first lap. The car isn't damaged, right? You're able to get back going again, but you're at the back of the pack. Walk me through the rest of that race to be able to get yourself back up, at least I think into a podium in class.
yeah, I did get back up to third, and it was just at that point I was upset at myself, so I knew I had to just stay focused, but don't be crazy and just pass when I could, and was able to move up.
Yeah, well, it's well done. That's probably the best salvage run we've seen, considering you were basically dead last in the field. You know, right there at turn 5 to finish 14th overall in the third in class. It's a really great drive, and of course the victory in the first race, which was a lot of that just survival as well as guys were, moving around and lots of contact, and you're able to kind of make your way through, claim that victory. So, for that, congratulations. Yeah, anybody you want to thank for the win on race 1 tonight?
I'll give the kudos to you guys at Apex Racing. Appreciate you guys supporting the team and all the sim racing.
Well, thank you so much, and I think congrats for the victory tonight and the podium in race number 2, and we'll see you next time out.
Thanks.
There you go. Steve Daniel, driver of the number 96 SKKJ Racing Mazda MX-5. And Larry, I would be remiss if we did not bring our winner from race number 2 tonight in, John Allen, driver of the number 101 Mazda MX-5.
Yeah, I want to talk to this guy, John Allen. Race 1, ends up in second in that race. A hard-fought race. Had a couple of moves alongside of him. Thought maybe I don't know if the car just got a little slippery at the end of that race. But let me ask you that, Judd. Did the car get a little bit slidey, a little bit out of control there in that first race?
Absolutely. This is a track, one of the few that in this car on iRacing, it seems like it is worthy of a separate qual to race setup, or at least the way I drive the car it is. I never really got comfortable with a race setup. I got a qual setup I was okay with. I hoped to be on the front row. Mike he was on fire the whole time. And that was fine. I like the outside there. It's the one lap I led of the first race, and it's the lap I defended like to infinity the rest of the night, or the turn that I did. But yeah, it was getting real greasy at the end, and thankfully it was at its best at the 1 or 2 turns where I most often had to defend. So that worked out. But
So did you make a setup change then for the second race?
No,
Okay.
I just tried to protect the tires a little bit more, and not be as antsy at the moves. The more and more confident I got holding the outside at the end of the backstretch, the more I kind of backed up where I could on some of the tighter turns. Travis was waiting to get on the gas a couple times because I wasn't giving him the space to do it, and that helped me save tires a little better the second time around. But I was also keeping a wary eye on Mike, because despite that rough start he had, man, he was just chewing through the field.
Yes, he was. You're gonna have to go back and watch the replay. He was getting through the field, but he was doing it patiently. And boy, I tell you, with 10 minutes to go, and you had this 6-pack, all of you guys, about a second and a half between the 6 of you, it was going to be anybody's race. But between you and Travis and Nathan, you guys made some incredible moves side by side through the whole turn 4 through madness. I saw at one point, I think Travis went to go make the move on you down the inside, and you kind of baited him into it and then dove back across. Any of this ring a bell?
Yeah, yeah. I vaguely don't know what lap, but we were having an absolute blast. That's the sort of racing Mid Ohio can give you. I mean, that's why people love the track. It's just, um, it has everything. It's not super long, but in a short 2.3 miles, it has every feature you can comprehend, and you can't have a weakness. You have to be good at everything as a driver if you want to succeed. So it's makes for a great show.
It definitely did. And I can tell you, you got to have a lot of trust in Travis and Nathan and Mike and Caleb and these guys for doing the things side by side with, you were at some point side by side with all 5 of those guys somewhere in tonight's races. You got have to have a lot of trust in them.
Totally, totally. And big shout out to Nathan on that too. I mean, it's his debut in the series, right? And we all just kind of have to gauge as we're going, how comfortable we are with that space. And he's got a lot of real world experience in karting and working into cars now. And I'm doing a little coaching with him, but maybe I should stop. He shows up at podiums his first race. Maybe I'll regret it, but no, we're glad to have him, and he fit right in like a veteran there. That was fantastic.
Yeah, that was a ton of fun to watch. I tell you, this series never disappoints. Another round in the books. 6 drivers finished within 1.7 seconds of the lead in that race. And you guys, for 10 minutes, were just all over the place. No major contacts, maybe a little bit of swapping some paint here and there. But in the end, great, clean racing. And you end up coming out victorious in race number 2. I got to ask, you got a new sponsor in the car. Tell me about it.
Yeah. So new Bright Blue Seamless Racing is my coaching service, both real and sim, and I just got a few more Ricmotech items from Frank, so I made sure the Ricmotech promotion was a little bigger as well. So I'm going to need it if I'm going to stay in front of my students, as you can tell. So, but yeah, hey, maybe that's the best advertisement, right? I've worked with Nate before one race, and he showed up and almost beat me. So
exactly,
might not be the best revenue generator, but certainly.
right. It's supposed to last longer than that.
If you want to beat the coach, call him up.
Yeah. So maybe get a little promotion going before the end of the season. Free coaching if you can beat the coach the first time out. Get a refund.
Well, that was some great racing tonight, John. Never disappointed here in Mid Ohio. What a fantastic run. Congratulations on the victory. And I'm looking at the points. You've got Mike down by 1 point right now, and I think we're going to be about that close to the rest of the season. So this should be a pretty exciting run to the finish.
Well, I got to compliment the student again then, because he made the pass back on Mike at the end, or I think Mike would have me starting the next one. So we're all's well that ends well. But yeah, that was a blast.
Awesome stuff. So congrats, John, and we'll see you next time out.
All right, guys. Thanks.
All right, there you go. John Allen, driver of the Seamless Racing number 101 Mazda MX-5, finished second in race number 1, took the win in race number 2. And Larry, I've got actually a further update on the points. I think not quite as close as what you had a few moments ago there. It is now looking to be a 6-point advantage for Mr. Allen over Mike Dam, 196 to 190, and they are definitely separating themselves out from the rest of the field. Running third in pro right now is Brennan Horn with 159 points. So again, those 2 drivers sitting at the top of the field, really starting to spread themselves out. And let's give a quick rundown in our AM category, where Eugene Weber still has the lead now over Dean Dibdahl. Margin 6 points, 126 to 120. Steve Daniel, and how things could have been different if he had taken the win tonight in AM. The SKKJ Racing driver now 10 points back from Dibdahl, 110, sitting third in the championship. Greg Brockway and Russ Ruddick rounding out your top 5. But I'll tell you what, if you go to extrememotorsports99.com's /road, you can find out more about the point standings for the Classic Sprint Series. You can find out about everything coming up, not only in that series, but also in the Ricmotech World Challenge as well, and also the Lamborghini Trophy Series. And with that, I think that's a great segue as we start to wrap up here. I want to thank everybody for watching. I want to thank Larry Lefty McLeod. I want to thank Dennis Branch and Jonathan Grabowski. Oh my gosh.
Not the first time you've done that.
No, it is not. It certainly is not. Thank you, gentlemen, for all that you do to help us out and the great folks with Apex Racing TV making this all look easy. So, of course, as Larry said, hey, let's throw up the animation one more time. If you liked what you saw here tonight, please go ahead and give us a thumbs up, even if I am a mushmouth, and click on that notification bell and find out about all the great motorsports that Apex Racing TV offers. See us on Instagram, Twitter, and on Facebook as well at Apex Racing TV. And so let's take a look at those races that we have coming up next week, next Monday night, March number 7. That's right. We're not going to go far, Larry. Matter of fact, there's a Days Inn just miles away from the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course that I think you and I need to camp out at all week, because we're going to be back at the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. 75-minute race for our LMP2 and GT3 racers. That is, of course, next Monday night, 8 p.m. And then in 2 weeks, the Classic Sprint Series is going to be heading across the pond, going to a new facility on the iRacing platform, and that is Knock Hill. Great, very challenging course there. Lots of different layouts, and I'm sure that the admins are setting up the most difficult of all for our MX-5 drivers. Should be a great race. We're going to be going back to our single 60-minute race format there. And then, as we've been telling you, and there is still time to sign up if you want to race with us in the Lamborghini Trophy Series, our single mark fixed setup series. First race is going to be Monday night, May 9th at WeatherTech Raceway, Laguna Seca. So head on over to Extreme Motorsports 99/road, and you can sign up and be on track and be on air. So again, for Larry, I'm Greg. We'll see you next Monday night.
Ricmotech, high-performance sim racing equipment. There's only one place to go, ricmotech.com.